Yo, what up guys? It's Kesnet. We're back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about magician clickies. I'm going to cover some of the most class-defining clickies and some of the overall most useful ones. I'm not going to cover every single little item. Like for example, I'm not going to put like a Grimoire clicky on here or like a really minor regen clicky. For the latest list, make sure you go to the website. So we'll start in classic and we'll just work our way down the list. Make sure you like the video if this is helpful, and also please subscribe. So first item for classic is we have the clay bracelet. This is going to give you instant cast Eye of Zom. For the second item, a Journeyman's Boots. It's going to give you increased run speed, and this is good until you get to Luclin, where you get the run speed AA. And lastly, we have Shield of the Immaculate. This is going to give you a Cure Disease clicky. It's also instant cast, but it has a 1-second cooldown on it. Moving on to Kunark, the first item is Bracer of the Hidden. This is going to give you a See Invisible instant cast. You can use this on other players. This isn't required, but it's kind of a nice toy, or it could be useful if you don't have See Invis. Mana Robe, comes off of Trachanon. This is really good as well. It's probably good until the level 65 or 70 range or so. And this is good because you can spam this while you're on a mount to get some extra mana regen. Orb of Mastery is your Magician 1.0 Epic. This is going to be the best pet in the game up until Planes of Power comes out, so try to get this done as soon as you can. Next we have Robe of Burning Rage. This is from Vishen's Peak. It's going to give you Burnout 3, and it has a decent cast time on it. It's only 8 seconds, so if you can pick this up, that's a nice quality of life item. Cernak Summoner Staff. This actually summons like an item that you can hand to other players, and they can click it and get a damage shield. So you actually don't have to be around the other player, and you can only hold one. So this item that it summons is lore. But this is a nice little item that you can hand out to people. You can give it to lower level players, and they can give themselves a little damage buff whenever they're out in combat. For Velious, we have Archmage's Robe. Now there's a bunch of different, depending on your faction, you don't have to go with the Thurgoden faction robe. You can kind of, whichever faction works for you. All the clickies are the same for all three. You can either do KL, Thurgoden, or Plane of Growth drops. But there's 3 items here. The first one is the robe. This is going to give you a Shield of Lava clicky. It has a long cast time on it though, which kind of sucks, but it's better than no clicky at all. The Pantaloons, it's going to give you Burnout 3, and looks like you can cast these at level 1, so that's pretty neat. And if you can do this quest at level 1, you can get Burnout really bad, like on a low level character. And this has a longer cast time than the Robe of Burning Rage. But notice the Robe of Burning Rage has a required level of 50 on that clicky, so get them both if you can. Archmage Warband. This will give you a Reclaim Energy item. You don't really have to get this. I don't know if Reclaim Energy is really that useful anymore. It might be in the earlier TLPs, but to save a little bit of mana. But generally, I don't think people really even cast this spell much anymore. Boots of Blade Calling. This is going to give you a 600 direct damage spell, but it has a 17-second casting time. So again, it's kind of optional. But if you're out of mana, you can click on these boots if you want. For some resist, you can get the Flowers of Functionality from Plane of Growth, or I'm sorry, from Plane of Mischief. Each one gives you plus 50 to the different saves. Some of them are easier to get. Poison and Disease are the easiest. Beyond that, you're probably going to spend some time in Plane of Mischief to get all of these. But it's just something you can get. Ring of Dane Frostweaver. I probably could have taken this off. It's not really too useful for a mage, but it's something you can pick up. It gives you some self-damage shield, a little bit of regen. Polymorph Wand, Forest Fairy. This is a fairy illusion, and it also will give you some levitate. I don't think it comes out until maybe Luclin. I know it doesn't come out in Classic or Kunark. I put it in Velious because it comes out somewhere between Velious and Planes of Power. My guess is it probably comes out in Luclin or Planes of Power, but just keep an eye on that. It'll be in the Daybreak store. It's 750 points. And moving on to Luclin here. First item, this is optional too. This will give you a Combine Gate, which ports you to the Dreadlands. It's got a long cast time, but you really don't have any other way to get to the Dreadlands directly. It's going to port you over to the Wizard Spire area, or the Druid Ring area, somewhere over there. So that's an optional item you can pick up for fun. Bone Earring of Evasion. This gives you invisibility versus undead. Again, this is optional. It's got a 15-second cast time, so your uses here are probably going to be pretty limited, but if it's something you want to pick up, you can. Bracelet of the Shadow Hive is the best shrink item on early TLP. It gives you a 1 second shrink. You can shrink anybody in your group. Burning Scepter of Elements. This will give you a right-click Blazing Heat clicky, so it's going to do 250 damage, and I'm assuming that's probably fire damage. I actually haven't looked it up, but I'm going to just assume it's fire damage. Circle of Smoke is right-click Gate. I use this on all my characters. I try to farm it out on every character I can. I don't like memorizing gates. It really annoys me, so this is a great, awesome item for casters and wisdom casters to pick up. Flowing Gossamer Cloak. This will give you right-click Levitation. It's self-only, but it's better than summoning like Levitate Rings, so it's a nice quality of life upgrade, and it's only a 5 second cast time. Gloves of Dark Summoning. These are good for the focus on them, and also they have Reclaim Energy on it as well. I decided I'd throw it in here because it's probably best in slot in the Luclin era for mages, just due to the pet focus on it, which will impact your mage pet. It'll make your mage pet stronger. And the clickies is kind of a little bonus, I suppose, which is instant cast. Gloves of Warding will give you 50 magic resist. That's an optional item. You don't have to get that. Harness Flame Dark is really good. It's going to give you a 35-point damage shield you can cast on anybody. It only lasts about 7.5 minutes, I think, base. It might be less than that base, but it will increase with AA. So if you have the extended AA, it's still really good, but it's more than you would normally get out of Shield of Lava. So you can cast a 35-point damage shield on a level 1 with this. Hoop of Emptiness is a 5 second Dispel. This is optional. There's a better Dispel option off of a 10 Hara Hara. We'll talk about that later, but pick this up if you don't get the 10 one. Jade Skull Earring is also a Dispel. I believe Hoop of Emptiness is better in 2 ways. I think that the type of spells that it dispels more different spells, and also has a shorter cast time. So, but Jade Skull Ring is good as well. You can pick up either one of these. Kodiak Robes of Heightened Focus. This is going to give you 5 mana regen. It's going to give it to you in the form of an AA. Opaline Charm is going to give you right-click Gather Shadows, which is a self-only invis. And there's another option for this in Planes of Power. We'll talk about that in a minute. Orb of Lost Souls is going to give you a 3 mana regen and hit point regen, and also it's going to give you a rune. So basically you cast this, it puts a rune buff on you that's going to give you 3 mana regen. And then the rune is really small, so if you're taking any types of damage, I think it's like 100 damage or 150 damage that it will absorb. The rune will disappear and you'll lose the benefit and you have to cast it again. But this is really good if you're not taking any damage or if you're in a group. Pendant of Malocini. This is right-click Malocini, 5 second cast time. I would pick this up as soon as you can. This is a really nice item to have. Ring of Resistance. This will give you 10 all resists in an AA form. You really don't need this unless you are really trying to min-max. It's just an optional item here. Silver Band of Secrets will give you 250 to your maximum mana pool. I'd pick this up if you can. It's going to be really nice to more mana is more mana. Wand of Filth. This is optional, but I picked it. I wanted to include it in the list because it drops from basically a group mob in Umbral Plains. And also, it only has a 0.8 second cast time, so it's actually worth casting. I mean, you can just cast it almost instantly. It gives you Endure Disease, so this is pretty cool. Wand of Imperceptibility. This is a self-only shrink with an 8 second cast time. So if for some reason you can't get the... Which one is it? The Bracelet of the Shadow Hive. If you can't get that, this wand is a really good alternative for shrinking yourself, but this one is self-only. Wristband of Secrets is by far the best dispel item in the game. It will dispel 4 buffs or debuffs at a time, and it has a 3 second cast time, and you can just like plow through. You can completely plow through stuff with this. These 2 items here, these are the Siru boots, and also these other boots are from a quest from Kadi Shah and Kata Castellum. These are both self-only sows. Pick these up if you need a sow item. Probably easier just to get the Lord Siru boots. Nobody kills Kadi Shah because he's just a pain. So moving on to Planes of Power. First item we have is Algae Covered Stiletto. This will give you a right-click Tiny Companion, and we'll have another option for this in a minute. Celestial Cloak is going to give you 5 mana regen, so if for some reason you can't get the Emperor robe up here, the Kodiak's robe of Heightened Focus, if you can't get that, You can pick up this in Planes of Power. And there's another option too that is actually better than both of those, and we'll talk about that in a minute as well. Earring of Celestial Energy is going to give you 20 to all resist. This is optional. Pick it up if you're trying to min-max. Elemental Leggings of the Prime. This is going to give you a right-click damage shield for a Flame Shield of Row, which is your pop level damage shield. I would try to get the legs if you can. This is a really nice clicky. Elemental Shroud of the Prime is the Ornate Robe. This is going to give you a right-click shield of the Malon, which is your pop shield. I would pick this up as well. Really nice to have that. You don't have to mem shield. Eye of Dreams is going to give you plus 400 to mana regen. I'm sorry, not regen, to max mana. Mana regen, that would be insane. But this will overwrite the plus 250 from the Silver Band of Secrets. So instead of 250, you'll get 400. You can pick that one up as soon as you can. It's really good to have more mana. The Elemental Legs, Magicot's Pants of Convergence. This will give you a right-click Mod Rod. It's really nice. Pick that up. It's a high priority as well. Manifold Disruption is the alternative to the Opaline Charm that we spoke about in Luclin. This is also right-click Gather Shadows with a 3-second cast time, so you can pick up this as well. It's from the Crocodile and Plane of Earth, which is pretty easy boss. Orb of Infinity Terror is from the Plane of Torment, from Saren in Plane of Torment, and this is going to give you Burnout 5 with a 7.5 second cast time, so that's nice. I would pick this up if you can, and maybe if you, there's an Eldon version that will replace this, but this is also a solid clicky here. Shaw of Eternal Forces is going to give you an 8 mana regen in form of an AA, and yes, that will overwrite the Celestial Cloak, and yes, it will overwrite the robe here from the Emperor. So it's a better option than both of those. This will be your best in slot in Planes of Power, so you can pick that up. Symbol of Ancient Summoning also has a tiny companion on it, but it's a 3-second cast time. I wanted to include it anyway because it also has a pet focus effect of Minion of Eternity. It's going to make your pet stronger, so you can pick this up as well. The Bindin Corin Sada, I don't know if I said that right, but anyways, we're going to be able to port to Plane of Knowledge with this. And you don't have to do that. This is a quest. You don't have to do this as a caster, but if you want to bind somewhere else and then use this to port to POC, you can kind of have 2 bind points. So that's kind of nice, but again, it's optional and depends on how you play your character. Veil of Lost Hopes is really good. Pick this up. This is going to give you a right-click Melusini effect. It's from Plane of Time, from Saren and Plane of Time. All mages should be able to get this and should want to have that as well. Veil of the Infernal is optional. It's going to give you plus 180 health. Now this is good if you're trying to min-max, but as a mage, 180 health isn't going to make or break anything. And lastly, we have Lost Dungeons of Norath. We can go with Cloak of the Fleeting Foot. This is the best SAO item in the game for people who can't use SAO. It's a 3-second cast time. You can cast it on anybody, even level 1s, anyone else, including yourself. So you can just spam SAO with this. Really awesome item. Pretty much, this is going to be a high competition item since it's all. So as a mage, you can't use SAO normally, so this might be a good pickup for you. Hopefully other classes that can use SAO will pass it, but definitely keep your eye out open for that one. And lastly, we have Marigold Boots of Eternal Learning. This is from Folly of Marigold's Ambition in the Eldon raid. And this is going to give you a right-click Burnout, and this is only going to have a 4-second cast time here, Burnout 5. So pick these up, really awesome item. And if this was helpful, please make sure to like the video and please subscribe. All right, thanks guys, bye.